Hello, my name is Khatija Saley, and my coaching practice is called Generative Conversations. And my coaching practice name is informed by the purpose of my work, which I believe is to help my clients think through and generate new thoughts, new ideas, think about how they might want to go forward and craft their future and themselves in terms of a new identity, a leadership style, and really we're then touching on some transformative aspects. But I do believe that the quality of everything we do is dependent on the quality of the thinking we do before, and that if we are able to have more powerful conversations where we hit the mark the first time, those in turn will ensure that we have more powerful relationships, more fulfilling relationships, and those in turn ensure that we start developing and collaborating and co-creating a culture that really looks at motivating, inspiring those around us. So my purpose is really to help people refresh, reframe who they are and where they want to go, and really what is the value they want to create, not only for themselves, but also for all the stakeholders that they serve. So the organization, the customers, the communities within which we operate. So I look at coaching from a more systemic perspective. How is it that we can connect the expectations of all our external stakeholders, and how is it that we start crafting an organization that will deliver to those so that we can ensure sustainability, not only for ourselves, but for our organizations. So we're starting to touch on what makes us resilient and what makes our organizations resilient. I'll tell you a little bit more about some of my tools and theories that I use that will help frame some of those conversations. But a little bit about myself. I grew up in financial services, but since I've been in my own coaching practice, I've worked across various industries, mainly within the executive space, and working with individuals and executive teams. So with executive teams, it's to help them craft a vision, purpose, strategies, plans, do business reviews. In addition, how is it that they can work better together? And think about all the stakeholders that would value from a more effective, impactful executive team. So that is the space within which I work. The organization and the individual are both my clients, so I've got to ensure that both get value. A little bit about how coaching and mentoring is different from counseling and therapy. Counseling and therapy are seen as medical models where the individual is seen as having to be fixed, whereas mentoring and coaching are really social models where the individual is firstly seen as fully functional, and the role of a coach would be to come with models, theories, and work with the individual firstly to think through, help them through, frame where they want to go, help them interpret where they're at currently. In addition, we also want to create some self-coaching capacity and to enhance the individual's leadership style. Mentoring is very much about wanting to learn from the wisdom of another. So that is mainly the difference. What can you expect within coaching? So coaching conversations really last between 60 to 90 minutes, where the individual can bring their agenda, and the role of the coach is to ensure that every coaching conversation is linked to the broader objectives that they want to achieve over the 6 to 8 month coaching assignment. There's also codes of conduct that will govern the behavior of the coach, coachee, and the line manager, but also together the coach, coachee, and line manager craft how is it that we go forward. So what does a coaching space look like? It's more of a reflective space. It's a little bit of slowing down to speed up, which is about the quality of everything we do is dependent on the quality of the thinking we do before, which comes from Nancy Klein. Secondly, coaching is very much a sounding board. It's a space where a client can think through things, think about what the risks might be, what the efficacy of their plans or thinking might be. But it's also a place where a coach will stretch and challenge so as not to collude and keep the client where they're at. The coaching relationship will ensure that the client learns tools and starts integrating some of the coaching approaches into their leadership style, and ultimately develop self-coaching capability when the coaching conversation is over. What would a 90-minute conversation look like? The client brings their agenda to the conversation. We explore why is it important for the client to change certain things, where are the things coming from. So we explore some hypotheses. We choose a focus area. We then explore what the change might look like, what the implications might be, who might be impacted, and then choose a way forward. You would then go and implement some of those changes, and we would then review what some of the learning might be. So really, coaching is about exponential growth for you as you go through the journey. Within 4 to 6 months, you'd start developing coaching capability, and it's very much about what you put into it is what you get. So some of the frames that we use is looking at how is it that we transform ourselves moving forward. So a little bit about a human development model and what are the phases. So how is it that we mature through our lives from sort of where we're interested more in our physical beings, our safety, our security, through phases of how we socialize, and eventually we want to start creating our own scripts about who we are, where we go, what our values are, what is our purpose in life, how do we create meaning for ourselves. And some of the tools will then be to help explore that, reframe that, and help you work through where you want to go. So that's fundamentally one of the approaches. We would also look at things like personal mastery, mental models, how do I view the world. We would look at things like the structure of trust and what is the implications in my work. We also then look at if I work with a team and I head and lead a team, how do I get them to be high-performing teams? What would the requirements be in addition to start understanding things like accountability, empowerment, development. So there's some structures that will support with that. I also work at a level of complexity which is important from a transformation perspective, because without having maturity and being a transformational leader, one would struggle to work within the world of VUCA. So there are a whole host of structures, models, theories that we would look at. It would also touch on things like how do I show up? What is my brand? Do I have gravitas? How is it that I want to impact and influence people? That in turn then links to my emotional intelligence. And part of what triggers me, how do I self-regulate, which then takes us into the journey of neuroscience and how we are made up chemically, and how is it that I start understanding how I can control some of those aspects so I become more impactful and more powerful in who I am and how I show up. I'd really like the opportunity, if you require, to give you further insights around some of the work that I do, some case studies. I wish you well on your journey. Thank you for taking the time to view my video.